we just talked about all the pressure that was at Q School, and then you said your third tour event, third event as a PGA Tour card holder, basically. You ended up being in the final group. And I remember right, Tiger had like a crazy finish to this round.
Mm-hmm.
A couple eagles on the back nine, he's chipping in or something like that. So, but just talk to me about that experience, about playing in that final group.
Yeah.
Obviously you get all the crowds. I mean, that's probably more people than in person that you've ever
I've
played
ever
in front
seen.
of. So,
Ever seen.
What was that just whole experience like?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal, to be honest. As a rookie, I was an alternate to start the week, so I wasn't even in the field until Wednesday morning. I got tapped on the shoulder and said, someone's back went out, you're in. I'm sorry, it was Thursday morning even. It was Thursday
really?
morning. We race out, me and Mikey, my old caddy, we race out to the 10th tee on the South course, which is like basically all the way down 18. I mean, we were like sprinting down the field. We make it by a few minutes. I go out and I shoot a 68 or 69 on the South, which is always a great round to shoot under par there. But then on the North, I had a really nice one. I was 65, 66. I'm leading this tournament that I wasn't even in, a day before. And I see Tiger's name start going up the leaderboard. I was done early, and we end up tied for the lead in the final group Saturday. I remember Courtney and I don't even know if we went to sleep that night. You're just it's hard to describe. I was 1100th ranked player in the world at that time, and he was number one by, 20 points, just so far ahead of everybody. And we get paired together, and I remember walking off the putting green to the first tee, and it's just faces. It's like tens of thousands of faces, and you look down the first hole, and it is 10, 15 deep people the entire way down the rough line, and it was like, here we go. There's like no hiding. It's just, you got to put a tee in the ground. You got to trust your routine. You got to pick a good target. And you just got to rip it. It might have been the longest drive of my life that I hit.
Really?
I absolutely hammered it down the middle. It was 330, 340, and just off to the races. But I watched him. I shot a 73 or 74. Watched him shoot a 66. Went on to win by 7 or 8, which he did at Torrey, all those years in a row. But shooting, not a great score, but a good solid score for the situation I was in, really told me I belong. And that was really half the battle, especially for rookies on the PGA Tour. Because you see guys you've read about, you see guys that have won big tournaments, and all of a sudden you're teeing up next to them and you're not sure whether you belong. I knew after that day that I belonged, and that was a huge moment for me. And like I said, everything since then, whether it was competing in major championships or having leads in major championships or coming down the stretch at Hartford or Tampa, I had some wins, I had some losses, but everything seemed smaller than that day. So I'm very thankful for that day. That was just a great experience that you can't pay for as a professional athlete to be put into that scenario.
So we mentioned a little bit about Tiger, but kind of, I guess if you have any, we talked a little bit about memories of the crowd and stuff playing with Tiger for that first time. Do you have any other memories about specifically kind of what it was like to either play with Tiger, maybe memories with Tiger as far as on the golf course or,
Well, I do have a fun story. Yeah, I do have a funny story from that day. As I said, I'm like a kind of a putter nerd and kind of like love the search for the perfect looking putter and all this stuff. And as a Scotty collector and got a bunch of cool lab putters and swag stuff. But clearly the Newport 2 Tiger Head from that era was the gem.
Right.
And so when I'm playing with him, I was like, I got to see this putter. We were walking off Torrey number 11, going back to, 12 green, going back to 13 tee. It was a long walk back to the par 5, and he's just kind of dangling his putter around. I'm like, I got to ask him. And so I'm behind him. I'm like, Tiger, can I see the putter? He's like, yeah, dude. Throws it to me. And I look at this thing. I mean, it's just so chipped, and it almost looked crooked at some parts. Like it just been dug out of the hole so many times. And so in my mind, I'm like, Scotty like refinishes these things, and they look unbelievable. I'm like, Tiger, they can refinish this and make it look mint. And he looks at me like I had 3 heads, and he goes, Kevin, I think I'm doing okay with it the way it is. I was just felt about this small, but it's so funny looking back. Like, of course, to his eye, that's something that you just trust.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, you got to look down at a piece of equipment that you believe is going to make that 10-footer, whether it's to win your club championship or $10 off your buddies or to win the Masters.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that matters is the confidence in what you got. Because does it really matter if you got a blade or a mallet or a left hand lower, all this? Not really.
Yeah.
You got to be great with what you have.
Yeah.
And it's funny having now a 9-year-old son who's slowly getting into golf, and him, trying different stuff out, and how my perception of that. I'm probably not saying the best example as a dad who has like 250 putters in the basement, but I'm telling him he can pick one, whatever he wants, but he's not getting, 5
Sure.
of them. So
it's fascinating. I'm sure like over the years too, as that putter has kind of, the dents and chips have added up. Like it's probably not a stark difference for him compared to what you had, where your putter is, finished, it's pristine, right? You're probably keeping it in the best shape possible. Then you look at his and it's kind of an eye opener, right?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Is there any other, guys on tour that you've kind of, maybe the viewers and listeners wouldn't necessarily think of right away, but a guy that's just been awesome to play with over the years?
I mean, gosh, being out there 18 years, I've been very fortunate to play. I mean, I got to play with Jack Nicklaus at the Memorial one year. I got to play with Tom Watson at the Masters. Played with all the young guys from Jordan to Victor to Ernie Els to Bernard Langer at the Masters. Like I've been able to see pretty much everyone in the last 30, 40 years. Played a lot with Phil, played a lot with Ricky. And it's just fun little photos. You look back at your career, which does go fast, but I'm also have had a really good time and enjoyed those moments, and being in the heat of battle with some of the best of all time, and seeing what they do and seeing what they don't do, and seeing like when things get turned on in those routines, and how it's just like the laser focus and then letting it go when it's gone. Like that's a part of that as well. And so those are like the small intricacies of the game that the different levels have and some don't. But seeing all those in competition has been really fun. It's something I'm really thankful for.
Yeah,